Welcome to another episode of Ronney Sports Corner. I'm your host, Ronnie McKee. I got my guy Sam with me today.
What's going
Um,
on? What's going on?
all right, as y'all know, week one of the NFL just went to a closing. So right now I'm about to break down the whole week one. Pick some specific teams. Next time it'll be different teams. But for right now, we got 8 topics that we gotta get into. So we're gonna start off with the Falcons versus the Panthers. So as you know, the Falcons won this weekend, 24-10. Me being a Falcons fan, I got a lot to say about this game, but I'm gonna start off with Sam.
Yeah, as you know, I went to the game, so I was able to actually go watch it in person. First week one in NFL. Definitely, got to be there in the building. I'm not necessarily a Falcons fan, but I'll go watch their games and whatnot. So, uh, game overall was a good competitive game. I feel that the first half it was a little bit shaky on who was going to pull out on who was going to come out with that win. But overall, Falcons, of course, as we all know now that they came out with that overall win. But from what it looks like, man, Bijan is he's a superstar, and then Tyler Algier is right there with him. And at first I was questioning, why would they take Falcons? And we talked about it a little bit, but why would Falcons take Bijan in that first round when Jalen Carter was still on the board? I know he had some outside stuff he was dealing with, but they're proving me wrong on why they took a running back that early in the draft. And he had a big game. Bijan had 10 total carries with 56 yards. So uh, he had a big game. And then Tyler Algier had 15 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So it's like they're using a 1-2 punch with them, and which I appreciate. I feel like a couple years ago, everybody had like a 1-2 running back setup. And I know everybody
They,
does
they
still
had
have that
they had a
now.
top 1-2 punch with Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman.
Yep,
They
yep, yep.
one of
So
the best rushing attacks.
Yep. So overall, a good game. I wanted to hear your thoughts on your team and how you felt like they performed, and I can speak on it a little bit more too.
All right, so yeah, it's not for me to launch. All right, first of all, I did like our defense. I will say that I liked our defense. Jesse Bates has definitely helped in the back. Definitely, the way he can disguise coverage. That's one thing he did for Cincinnati real good. He disguised coverage, and he was able to pick off Bryce Young twice doing that.
Hmm.
We still got AJ Terrell back there. We still got Grady Jarrett. We had some young pieces that were really, they were doing their part and everything like that. I still don't like um our pass rush. I feel like we give the quarterback a little bit too much time. And then like when they do get time, we give them dump off passes that go for about 5 to 8 yards. But all in all, our defense did stand up better than I thought they would. But I mean, they were playing against, a rookie. So I mean, we'll see Barry next week. This upcoming week they play against the Packers, so we'll see Barry this upcoming week. But I will say this: Desmond Ritter. So before we started, when I gave my breakdown a few weeks ago, the main thing I said was I have to see how our quarterback is going to play. That was my main thing
Hmm.
I said. So we got Drake
Yep.
London, we got Kyle Pitts. We barely saw them this weekend because our quarterback had under 150, if I'm not mistaken. He had
Yeah, he had 115 yards.
yeah, he had under 50 yards by half. So that means our wide receivers couldn't even have that. I think Bijan took most of the yards.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So so I like the way we utilize Bijan. I do like the way we utilize Bijan. But man, you got Drake London and Kyle Pitts out there. You have to get them the ball. Like I I know what type of offense our OC likes to run. That's why I don't really like our OC. And like I said, you gotta get them the ball. For the life of me, I couldn't understand like why are we not throwing it down the field? All these screen passes, you throwing it 3 yards or so. And the Panthers started picking up on it. Like, well, we're just gonna start sending people back. So we got a lot of minus yards just because we trying to throw the ball, screen passing and stuff like that. I'm like, man, you got Cal Pitts, which you saw the play he made at the end of the game. If you put the ball in the vicinity, because it wasn't really a good pass. If I'm being completely honest with you, it wasn't a good pass, but he adjusted to the pass. But man, you have to you have to throw the ball. you're in the NFL, okay? I'm sorry to tell you this. And everybody who's watching, I'm sorry to tell you this. If you're in the NFL, you have to throw the ball. I know everybody like, rushing attack is fine and everything like that. We had 1,000 yards last year with Tyler Algier. A rushing attack is fine, but my God, you have to be able to throw the ball. And it's not many games you're gonna win throwing under 150 yards. I'm just letting you know. I don't know too many quarterbacks that's winning under throwing under 150 yards. So, but yeah, like I said, it was frustrating me watching that game. It really was.
I was gonna say that I was on the same pace because I was talking to a few people as well just about the same thing, and I was asking them like, of course, people I was talking to they were Falcons fans as well, so they might be a little blinded, but I was telling them for me it looked like Desmond Ritter was just kind of slow to either make his reads, even when they were going with the short passing game. A lot of those times when he would dump the ball off, the defender was right there at Bijan or Tyler Algier's legs already. Like it wasn't like a quick read, and maybe that's that's maybe his bailout, but it's like the first play of the game. I think the first play was a throwing play for the first game for the game,
He
and
caught
the
the ball
ball was
himself.
batted down. Yeah, the
Yeah, he
ball
caught
was
the
batted. The ball got batted in the air, and luckily he caught it. And then after that, I think the coaches are like, "All right, we're gonna have to put this one in the books and just get the ground game." And the only
but
reason,
here's the
mm-hmm,
thing: you can't lose confidence in throwing the football because
yeah,
you're in the NFL. All right, so in the NFL, what have we saw over the past few years? Most of the teams that throw the football, you had the Rams win the Super Bowl. Guess what? Cooper Cup had the Triple Crown. You got
mm-hmm,
see Chiefs win the Super Bowl. We all know it's Mahomes. And then you had Jalen Hurts in that Super Bowl with him. And Jalen Hurts could have been the MVP if they won the game. You're going to have to throw
Josh
the ball.
Allen, competitor,
Yeah.
he slings the ball every game. And
We get into Josh
it
Allen, but
was.
don't worry. We're getting to Josh Allen
Oh
later.
yeah, we'll get to him. Well, I'm just
Get
talking
to
about
Josh
I'm talking
Allen.
about years previous. For one, this week one was a little shaky for everybody. I feel like it was a shaky week one. Players that you expect to do great all the time didn't do so hot, and so we're like you said, we'll get to that later. But yeah, with the Falcons, like you were saying, Desmond Ritter is going to have to throw the ball, and he's going to have to get comfortable with it. People were trying to give me the excuse, well, he only played 4 games, so he's still only kind of like a rookie, and I'm like, he sat behind somebody for a full season,
Yeah.
then got opportunity to get inside a real live action games, and then had a full off season where you are the number one guy. I don't want to hear excuses of, well, he's still kind of like a rookie, X, Y, and Z. And I'm telling him, hey, it just kind of looks like he's kind of slow to make the reads. And then the one long ball that he threw to Kyle Pitts, it wasn't on point. And like you mentioned, he had to create that catch. That's just him being a great athlete, a great tight end, wide receiver, whatever you want to use him as. But
But here's the thing that I'm getting at also. They surrounded him with pieces where he doesn't even have to make the great pass all the time. You got Drake
yeah,
London with a 6'2", 6'3" frame. Now he did drop a pass at the beginning of the game. I remember watching that. He did drop a pass at the beginning of the game. But still, he has a 6'2", 6'3" frame. You can throw the ball up to him. That's what he was like known for at USC. Then you got Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, he Kyle Pitts is one of the weirdest athletes you'll ever see because he's a 6'4" tight end, but he's basically a wide receiver.
yep,
Like,
yep,
uh, like I said, we got other topics to get into, so
for sure.
I'm gonna transition to a different topic, but yeah,
Before you transition, can you give your projection for next week for versus Green Bay? What do you think? What does it look like? Do
okay,
you think they
so
come back, get better? Do you think he starts throwing the ball now? What do you think?
I, well, you can't be much worse. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna say that you can't get much worse. He had under 50 yards at halftime. So first of all, I think that Bijan is gonna be way more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I like our running attack and everything like that. Now our defense is gonna be, it's gonna be a bit of a task because the way Jordan Love played last week, he played pretty good. He had two touchdowns, no interceptions, nothing like that. He played against the Bears, so I mean it's not too much you can.
Aaron Jones, the running back, had an amazing game as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a big test because Packers very well could be a top 4 team in the NFC, possibly. So it's gonna be a big test. It's gonna be our first test as it's only 2 games. So it's gonna be our
Mm-hmm.
first test of the season. So I'm interested to see what they do. Um, but me being a Falcons fan, I still got us coming out.
for
Still got
sure.
us coming. All right, so we're gonna transition over. Bengals versus Browns. We gotta talk about this because Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback, highest paid player in the league now. So normally I wouldn't
Boy got
even
his
like,
bag.
yeah. Normally I wouldn't even talk about this topic, but given that he's the highest paid, we have to go to. So he really struggled this week. He had under
Hmm.
100 yards.
Yep.
Never get anything going, and he also struggles every time they play against Cleveland. By the way, he got one win against Cleveland in his whole career. So I'm not sure if we can say that it's Cleveland or we can say that he had something going on. But from the looks of it, he was struggling throwing the football. It was a tough game. It was a lot. It was bad weather. I will say that it was some bad weather. So it
I
was.
still that's no excuse. Both of them still play outside conditions, so that's no excuse.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put it like this. When it's tough weather, most time always favors the running team. And as we know, they got Nick Chubbs, who arguably is probably the best running back in the league. So it's obviously gonna favor him because Deshaun Watson didn't have too great of a game either. He didn't have
Yeah.
too great of a game either. So I'm not gonna put it on there. It was Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow. And Deshaun Watson outplayed him because that wouldn't be a true story. True
Hmm.
story is it was a tough weather game. It was a rainy day. And most of the time, the running team, not always, but most of the time they're gonna win. And given that they got Nick Chubbs, but this topic we don't want to go too far deep into it, given that, it's not too much to talk about with this one. But I just
I
wanted to
was gonna
hear.
say I felt like this was a. I was gonna say this feels like a an upset. I was shocked to look at the scores and sit there. I was. This was probably one of the. I feel like was a bigger upset than the Chiefs and the Detroit game. I was shocked that the Bengals couldn't put it together, especially with Joe Burrow getting paid and they have all the hype from last year's and years previous. We know how good of a team they are, and then to get beat like that by
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson and crew is kind of like you said, not going to pit the two quarterbacks together because Deshaun Watson didn't have the best of the best games. He went 16 for 29, 154 yards, one TD and one interception. So not the best, but not the worst. And then of course Nick Chubb, like you said, you got him a power horse in that backfield with 18 attempts on 106 yards. That's a good game every day. I'll take that. That's easy money. So, but yeah, I was just shocked that that happened. Like that stood out to me big time when I pulled up my phone, and then when I started watching the highlights of the game as well.
Like I said, it wasn't a shock to me, given that Joe Burrow struggles against Cleveland a lot. Like the
Mm-hmm.
fact of the matter is he lost to Baker Mayfield when Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland. So I mean the fact of the matter wasn't too bad of a shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the truth. But
It
like I
is what
said,
it is.
we wasn't gonna go too far into that topic. I'm sorry for the Bengals or Browns fans, whoever, but wasn't gonna go too deep into that. But we had to talk about the highest paid player. But we're gonna transition over. We got 49ers and Steelers. This game I do want to talk about a little bit because
That was a good game.
49ers, yeah, 49ers, they look pretty good. They're looking pretty good.
Talk to me about Brock Purdy, man. I was asking people. I was saying, hey, is this Brock Purdy guy? Is he legit? Do you guys believe in him? I'm asking around just to get the feel because I'm like, hey, him starting this season, what he did last season was amazing for backup quarterback. I think was Mr. Irrelevant in his draft
Yeah.
class. Like, so I was interested to see, but Brock Purdy going 19
So,
for 29, 220 yards. Let's talk about it,
uh,
man.
so I will tell you this. One thing I do love about Brock Purdy, and this also goes with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is going to put you in the best position possible. So he's going to evaluate the talent that he has around him. He has Christian McCaffrey. He got Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. So he's going to tell his man, like, okay, we're going to hand the ball off first, right? Christian McCaffrey going to get going, everything like that. You got Debo Samuel. You can always flip a screen pass to, a slant, something like that. So he got a lot of confidence boosters that he can give to Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy, one thing I realized watching him, if he has confidence, he's going to tear your ass up. And the fact of the matter is, he's been tearing people's ass up since he started playing. You know, everybody like to say, okay, he's not Mahomes. He's not gonna make the flashes passes or stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, since he started with the 49ers, he tore everybody ass up since he started. Everybody he's played. That's just the fact of the matter is. You can try to go
Yeah.
around any type of way you want. Hey, he got this talent, he got that talent. I didn't see Jimmy G look this good in the system. Trey Lance, he played 2 games. I didn't see him look this good in the system. The fact of the matter is, Brock Purdy got confidence, and he's proving it. And he's tearing everybody up that he has in front of him. It don't matter if this team had a top defense or not. The
And
story is
I wonder if that's from him, just being bought into that system. And not to get into like the whole locker room speak or feel, but you come drafted, Mr. Irrelevant. You make it on a team that has a long history of, legends winning, and you buying fully into that system. Not saying that Jimmy G didn't, but he's a product of the Bill Belichick coming over, maybe thinking I'm that guy. Trey
yeah.
Lance being first round pick. I'm that guy. Getting injured, of course, I know his career has been, hit and miss with the injuries and stuff like that. But I think he's just fully bought in, and then it looks like this guy can't miss. He can't miss, man. It's crazy.
Now I do want to talk about the Steelers a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, they're in the division right now with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Browns. Steelers, they OC, he's not very creative.
Mm-hmm.
That's the simplest way to put it. He's not that creative. Um, you got George Pickens and Najee Harris. George Pickens, I believe, had under 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your line can't hold up for nothing. And they keep trying to restructure a line, and every year it's the same thing. They got Big Ben killed, and that's where they're planning on trying to do the same route with Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
So so I mean, like I said, they line ain't holding up too good. Najee Harris is a talented running back, but he can't really show too much with the struggling line. And then you got George Pickens on the outside who can't really show too much because if I'm being honest with you, I'm not sure if Kenny Pickett is that guy. I believe that he's an NFL quarterback, but I don't believe he's one of those guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, they kind of in a weird situation. Like, it's too much that has to go right for them to Pittsburgh is about Super Bowl. It's too much that
Yeah.
has to go right for them to be in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
They still
Yeah,
have
and I
they
was just
still have
gonna
an
say what.
extremely talented defense, though.
Uh-huh.
Extremely talented defense. Who by the way, that was a good. Patrick Peterson get thrown off. He get thrown
Yeah.
all over the floor. You
Yeah.
got TJ Watt. He's very talented, but I mean, he is going up against the 49ers, so it just
Yeah, and
got
that's kind of what I chalk it up to as well. Just like, hey, it's the first game of the week against the 49ers, which, like we said right before, they are stacked with a bunch of weapons that are going to score. They're going to get open. Christian McCaffrey just being in that backfield, it's a scary day. It's a long day for everyone. And we've seen glimpses of that being super scary at the end of the last season when Christian McCaffrey originally came over from the Panthers. It's just a long day, and not even to mention, Debo Samuel's, he's always in the slot. He can always be open. He's just going to be a playmaker. It's just a long day for a week one, and I don't think necessarily they were prepared or what necessarily happened, but not to say they can't bounce back or anything. Like you mentioned, it's week one, just getting through it, getting the fills out, and it's just a tough team you got to go against
yeah.
right off the off season. So,
Yeah. All right, we're gonna transition over. This one was a whooping. Cowboys and Giants. This was a whooping.
on a
So I'm
Sunday
gonna
night.
be, yeah. I'm gonna be completely honest. By the second quarter, the game was over.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Daniel Jones throws 2 picks. I believe did he throw 2 picks in the first half?
I believe
I
so.
think it was both in the first half. All right, so it's Cowboys defense, and I hate the Cowboys. Is serious. Like this defense is serious. You got Michael Parsons and you got Dexter Lawrence, both coming. And I'm sorry that I forgot the dude's name, but they had another dude who was he's probably just a guy on another team, but he had 2 sacks because they
Hmm.
worried about Michael Parsons and they worried about DeMarcus Lawrence. So I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
so then you got Stephon Gilmore on one side and you got Trey Diggs on the other side.
A long, long day. A long night. Yeah. Once
I mean,
even just watching that game starting off, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, New York Giants look good. They're coming off, they were in the playoffs last season. Can they still piece it together to be competitive at the beginning of the season this year? That first drive looked so promising. Oh my goodness. I was like, okay, this might be a for real game. Like, it's surprising that Cowboys defense didn't look like a factor. Then Cowboys make a stop on third down. And so I'm like, okay, well, they didn't score, but they'll go up 3 points. No, we're gonna get a block, punt, and then a touchdown by the defense. I think the defense scored the first 2 touchdowns. I think it was a
yeah,
touchdown and then
yeah,
a field goal and then another touchdown by the defense.
yeah, yeah.
Early, early. And I said, okay, this is just gonna be a long day for them. You can see the defeat on the coach's face. I forgot the coach's name for the Giants, but you
Is
could
it
see the
Doug?
defeat on his face. Huh?
Is it Doug Pearson?
I believe.
Brian
I'm
Dayball?
not.
Brian Dayball. Brian Dayball.
Yeah, I was like, I believe,
Brian Dayball.
but yeah, you could just see the defeat in his face, and then you could start telling like it was just really bad, and I started having PTSD because last season when my Vikings played the Cowboys, they put up I think 41 or 42 on
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. They beat the
It
brakes off
was
y'all.
real bad. Yeah, they beat the exactly. They beat the brakes off of us, and that's when it started, giving me flashbacks of. And I was like, man, it's hard for me to sit and watch this happen to the Giants.
And like I said, and I said this before the season started. I didn't think Daniel Jones was that guy. So this is what I get mad about right here. Saquon Barkley. We clearly saw last year he was the driving force of the Giants, right? You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
pay this guy, right? You don't want to pay him. You want to franchise him and everything like that because running backs don't last too long in the league. But you pay Daniel Jones, and he goes out there and does this. Like I said, Daniel Jones has to have a running attack for him to be successful. But you don't want to pay your running back, and you pay him, and he can't lead the team by himself. He's not one of those guys that's going to be like you drop back, without like a play action or anything like that. If Saquon wasn't back there, ever since he got in the league and Saquon hasn't been there, he struggled. So, like I said, it's not too much I can say about the Giants other than that I just don't like the way that they management like runs it. And that's really the NFL in general because they don't want to pay running backs. But like I said, if your running back is more important than your quarterback, and you give your quarterback a lot of money, like you get what you got, a 40-point blowout. You get exactly what you got, a 40-point blowout. So, well, like I said, Cowboys breaking it down, just a quick breakdown because we got about 3 other topics again too. I don't want to run out of time. The Cowboys does have a elite defense, and they might be the best defense in the NFL. Giants is going to struggle this year because yeah, it's looking like last year was a one-hit wonder. But yeah, but that's my quick breakdown of that. But we're gonna get to the NFC favorites from last year, the Eagles and the Patriots. So for those of you that don't know, the Eagles started this game off pretty hot. A pick and everything like that, everything looking nice. Then everything just started breaking down. It's like they started feeling themselves or something. So Jalen Hurts had an all right game. 170 yards. Yeah, all right game and everything like that. But I do see it. Their line is not looking the same. Maybe it was just one
Mm-hmm.
game. This
Mm-hmm.
is week 1, but their line was not looking the same.
I was gonna say I feel like each year the Patriots always have a solid defense. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
their
I will
system
talk
is ran with
about.
a solid defense. Go
I
ahead.
will say Patriots defense is always pretty good because you got Bill Belichick running the system. So I mean, he's gonna be prepared. He's gonna take away your strengths, even though AJ Brown had 70 reception yards. He's going to take away most of your strength. So I mean,
Yeah.
I will chalk it up to that. Mac Jones having 54 passing attempts is actually insane. Like
I
it's
think
insane.
Jacoby Myers was on the receiving end for most of those. Um, for most of those. Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
lying. I'm thinking of Raiders. I'm thinking of Raiders.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But like I said, him having 54 passing attempts is insane. So
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I don't expect much out of the Patriots this year. I never did, never do. But ever since they lost Tom Brady, it's been a struggle. But the Eagles, they're gonna have to get in check because that right there, that's gonna get them beat against the Cowboys, and that's gonna get them beat against the 49ers. And I'm not even talking about just a regular beat. Like, it's not gonna be a regular beat. And if they play like that against um the Cowboys or 49ers, but I do believe the Cowboys and the 49ers had the best weeks out of everybody in the NFL. They had the best week
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really say too much given that it's just week one. Everybody
Yep.
gonna adjust, everybody gonna go to practice, and everybody gonna get well, some people gonna get better. I'm not gonna say everybody's gonna get better. But yeah. So the Eagles, I look forward to big things from them. They're actually playing right now. I will tune in and watch that game after I get off.
Yep.
Um, well, we got three more topics left. And I definitely wanted to get into this Jets and Bills game because I do got a lot to say about this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you start it off first. Well, your thoughts on the game.
Yeah. So we can just get the you know the news, the injury right out the way. You know, hopefully he has a super speedy recovery. Uh, Aaron Rodgers, we all know he tore his Achilles on the first drive, which is crazy, and I know that hurts the Jets fan base so much because it
Yeah.
definitely hurt my feelings. He's coming from Green Bay. I'm not the biggest Green Bay Aaron Rodgers fan because we had to play him twice a year. So watching him whoop up on the Vikings for a little while always made me feel a little salty as well. But him tearing his Achilles, so he is out for the season. Also, too, in week one, J.K. Dobbins on the Baltimore Ravens also tore his Achilles, so hopefully he has a speedy recovery as well.
Yeah.
But the Jets are on the Hard Knocks HBO show. I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks on HBO, but you could tell the team was bought into him. Everybody believed in that he was the guy. He is the guy to be playing. He was kind of there, not savior, but he was there, glimmering hope to actually do a strong push into the playoffs. Having a fantastic defense, having Sauce on the defensive side, and then also having Garrett Wilson on the offensive side. You pick up Dalvin Cook. You add a couple more pieces to the
Brees Hall.
Jets, and that
Brees Hall is
Brees
looking.
Hall, my fault. Yeah, Brees Hall is there right behind them as a running back. So it starts to look like, hey, they put something together, and they're ready to get going. Granted, they still put something together by the end of the game just because Josh Allen, I feel like, did not have his
Yeah,
best
we
game.
got to dive into Josh Allen. We got to dive into Josh Allen.
Yeah, but Zach Wilson still came into the game, kind of picked up. I feel like him sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, being able to pick up little tidbits here and there from him. Aaron Rodgers always coaching him up. We've seen that. We got to see that inside look with the Hard Knock show of Garrett Wilson. I mean, not Garrett Wilson, but Zach Wilson kind of picking up what he was putting down and everything. So he came in, was able to lead the team the proper way. And get the job done. But I know you want to speak about Josh Allen and crew.
All right. So first of all, um, it was a rough game to watch. After Aaron Rodgers went down, the game was pretty rough to watch. So I'm gonna start off with the Jets. It's gonna be a tough season for them. Zach Wilson being at their quarterback for the rest of the year, he did play pretty good while he was in. I feel like they definitely took the playbook down after Aaron Rodgers went out. Understandable. Garrett Wilson will be a star. That catch he made was that was ridiculous. So he will be
Mhm.
a future star. I will say that. Sauce Gardner playing pretty good. He made Stephon Diggs push off at the end of the game. So like I said, and Quentin Williams. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Mhm.
Him on that defensive line. Yeah, he's a problem inside there. So yeah. So all that said, Jets, I wanted to get my Jets point of view. Now let me go into Josh Allen. This was my problem before the season. This is why I told you. I said the man turns the ball over way too much. He tries to do unnecessary plays that's not there. So he's trying to run the ball, fumbling. He's he threw 3 picks to the same person.
Mhm. Mhm.
And some of them was just well, one of them, I don't know what he saw. He threw it down the middle, and the dude was in like triple coverage. I'm like,
It's just forcing the ball. Just forcing the ball.
so like I said, that's been my problem with Josh Allen all along. I'm like, okay, y'all want to put him up there with the great quarterbacks, and he is, but when he goes against Mahomes, Burrow, and even Jalen Hurts, you can't just be throwing the ball anywhere like that. Like it's not gonna work. And that's
Yeah.
that's his problem. Like that's why I always said, as opposed to them over all of them, I would choose them over him because his turnovers are just mind boggling. Like, why are you trying that? Then he's trying to run people up like he's a running back. I'm like, I know.
He is a big body, man. And I think with Josh Allen, I think with him it's more so big risk, big reward type of deal because he'll give you 200-300 in one game if you let him. So it's like depending on what the coverage looks like, depending on what he sees, he'll try to take a couple risks in order to get that ball to where it needs to be. And then you got somebody like Stephon Diggs, and not to talk about him or nothing bad, but he does
Always in
want the ball.
Yeah, he's
He
always
wants
in your
the Yeah, he wants the ball, and he's gonna let you know that he wants the ball when y'all losing and y'all getting beat, y'all down. The team is trying to figure out an answer. He gonna let you know, hey, pass me the ball, and if you don't get the ball, is now he's trying to look for a different place to land.
yeah.
But hopefully, this one showing for Josh Allen, and I think he'll bounce back easy. And with
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
it's just him. It's just going to be consistent throwing the ball. I think this time,
He's
you
just
know,
up and down. He's up and down so
yeah,
much.
yeah. And at the beginning of last season, he started. He was real good, and I think he had that elbow injury towards the end of last season, and
Yeah.
then that I think it started affecting his play. Few think with him, it's just, hey, you launch the ball. We got the wide receivers down there that'll catch it. The Jets is just a defense that you got to be
Yeah.
cautious of because they're heat seekers. They're looking for every opportunity. If you mess up, they're going to capitalize on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we run out of time. I only got 5 minutes left. I wanted to talk about the Dolphins and Chargers. I'm sorry we had to do a quick breakdown of this one. But Dolphins Chargers. You got Tua and you got Justin Herbert. Now, I told you before the season started, I had the Dolphins. I told you why.
Man,
You realize they put up
Tua,
500 yards. I keep trying to tell you.
and look,
I told you before the season, Tua put up 500. Not Tua, my bad. Dolphins put up 500 yards. But he got his numbers now.
yeah. And listen, hey, me personally, I said I needed to see what Tua looked like. Come, 2 concussions last year, kind of slowed down his production. And then the first preseason game I watched him, he threw a pick the first one. And let alone it's preseason, so it really don't matter. But it's like he throws a pick in the first play of the preseason. So I needed to see, and he clearly showed me, and he was chucking that thing too. He has 45 attempts, but 28 out of 45. So and 466 yards. That boy is a monster.
So I tried to tell you, I said before he went down, he was the lead in passing.
He was. Yep, he was.
So, like I said, him being in that system, he probably gonna always be a top 5 MVP candidate. maybe. I don't know. Tyreek Hill said he don't got too much longer left, so we don't know. But
And he not showing receptions for 215 yards. That's
I mean, he
ridiculous.
that's a personal thing that he don't want to play too much longer. But like I said, I told you, and we're gonna get to the Chargers' point of view. Chargers, they play a pretty good game, but Chargers problem
Mhm.
stays the same. That defense has a lot of names, but not a lot of productivity.
Mhm.
Because J.C. Jackson, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tyreek Hill gives everybody to work, but it was just like it
At some
was
point,
just
they
like
just gonna have to trip him.
yeah, it was just like J.C. Jackson was in hell. He was like, man, he just kept looking up like, can somebody please get me out of here? Like so, so I mean, like I
He did
said, it's
everything
Tyreek
but
Hill.
tap the top of his helmet.
Yeah. Like I said, it's Tyreek Hill, Jalen Wallace. So I mean, not too much you can say. And like I said, I'm sorry we had to give a quick breakdown of that. And I wanted to do Chiefs and Lions. We only had 3 minutes left, so we're gonna give a quick like 1 minute breakdown of it. You can go ahead first.
I was gonna say the Chiefs and the Lions. Like I said earlier, I thought it was an upset, but it clearly wasn't. I'm gonna try to make this fast. But Detroit, ever since that second half of last season, have looked amazing. They're a really good team, and I think we were talking about it where I have them placed where I could say they're number one or two in our division, NFC North, either one or two or whatever. But yeah, and then on the opposite side, we know that Travis Kelce was hurt, didn't play in the game, and so Patrick Mahomes didn't have his wide receiver tight end one.
Yeah.
A lot of players were struggling there.
Darius
Not
Tony
too many
Scott
people
Moore.
put up.
Darius Tony Scott Moore. We're gonna say their name. Darius
Yeah,
Tony. We're gonna say their names because Darius Tony. You might as well say he was the game. I mean, he was the player of the game for Detroit. He was the player of the game for Detroit. We're gonna go ahead and say it. He was the player of the game for Detroit. They should have gave him the game ball. He took the ball right up to the man, gave him a pick six, and guess what he did after that? He said, you know what? If that's not enough, on the last drive, I'm gonna make sure I don't catch this shit. I'm gonna make sure like that was like a 17, maybe 20-yard pass. He said, well, this one gonna go through my hands too. It went through my hands at 5 yards. It can go through my hands at 20 yards. How about that?
facts. So not the best showing, but I feel like Chiefs will bounce back easily. Like we said earlier, this week one they'll
Jaguars,
make their adjustment.
so it's tough. Yeah,
Jaguars is a tough matchup. Tough matchup. That boy Trevor Lawrence, crazy, amazing player.
he gave
So
him
we'll
Calvin
see how
Ridley.
that goes. Calvin Ridley, oh man, hey y'all Falcons boys, I don't know how y'all let that man go. I know
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
doing some. I know he was doing some gambling, but dang, y'all let go of a hell of a
I was
player.
like, I would accept it. I would accept it.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, I'm sorry we had to give a quick breakdown of that. But yeah, like I said, Kadarius Toney, he was a player of the game for Detroit. Mahomes put the ball in place for a lot of them. They couldn't catch the ball. Not much I can say about that. Detroit, they're looking pretty decent. We'll see them next week. They play against the Lions. Oh man, my bad. They play against the Seahawks. But we are running out of time, so I would like to say thank you for watching. If you are watching, like and subscribe. Leave your comments on whatever you might think, and I'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you.
Y'all be easy.